Welcome to this week's edition of the Dakota Angler 2-Minute Fishing Report. Well, it's hard to believe that the calendar has already turned to July, and by the way, I hope all of you have a great and safe 4th of July holiday. Really remember why we celebrate that holiday, to say the least, and really we need it now, so keep that in mind. But again, this past week's weather has been less than favorable. It hasn't been bad in many areas, but around here in the southeast, it's been less than favorable. The people that went out fishing this past weekend had a decent amount of success. A lot of people were heading north. A lot of people were heading to Bitter and Walleye. Those were the two lakes that have consistently produced nice walleyes. And some of the tournaments that were had up in Bitter showed the results. A lot of big fish being caught up at Bitter right now. So keep that in mind. And a lot of those people that were catching those big fish were using forward-facing sonar. So, you don't always need to have that, but it does come in handy. So the lakes up in the northeastern part of the state that produce walleyes, other than Bitter and Walleye, continue to be Dry Lake by Clark, Lynn and Midland, Goose, Big Stone, Indian Springs, Drywood, and then also Pelican and Opitz. Down in the southeastern part of the state, the lakes that produce walleyes included Thompson, Dry Lake by Willow Lake, Ponset, a few being caught at Sinai, Madison, Henry, a lot of weeds there, by the way, Brant, as well as Island and Twin. And Twin is the trophy lake where to keep the walleye, it needs to be 28 inches or larger. But folks, a lot of times people will come in here and ask where to take your kids out to go fishing for walleyes. The best place, honestly, is Twin, because you're probably going to catch it. So those are the places that you want to really go to introduce them to catching walleyes, and they don't have to test their patience, if you know what I mean. The Missouri River, again, depending on the day, I think the further north you go on Oahe is much better than down in Lake Francis Case. It's definitely been the story all year long, and it continues to be that way. Now, what people are doing to catch the walleyes, again, the calendar's turned towards July and into July. A lot of people now are starting to make the transition to more summer type of patterns, such as snap jigging. A lot of people are starting to do that. You get the jigging wrap, you have the moonshine shiver minnows, all those new and tried and true presentations and baits are starting to be used right now. Other people are pulling crankbaits, whether or not it's the Selma Hornets, the Flicker Shads, some of our custom shad wraps have been working quite well. And then other people are using bottom bouncers with crawlers and leeches. That live bait presentation continues to produce nice walleyes. I think the better walleyes are being caught with snap jigging presentation, or also using jigs and plastics. That's where it seems like some of the larger fish have been caught this past week. The Missouri River, again, a lot of people trolling with crankbaits and also bottom bouncers. So again, I don't think things are going to be changing over the next week, and the weather's going to be a little bit more unsettled. So I think you need to be prepared to have a few more presentations in your back pocket than your favorite one. In this week's edition of Todd's Tackle Tips, we're going to talk about a few things that are new to the Dakota Angler that we just received this past week. Now, as I mentioned in the report, with the calendar turning to July, a lot of people are starting to do a little more snap jigging than they otherwise did earlier on. This is the time of the year to cover more water, a little bit more aggressive presentations in some cases, that the snap jigging presentations really do work. But also, you can't replace live bait, as we talked about in previous weeks. Now, this week, we're going to talk about some of the new plastics that we just got in from Northland. Everyone's been talking about the eye candy. It's been out since last fall. Now this year they came out with the new eye candy 4-inch paddle shads. There are a number of different colors. So the packaging makes it look like they have a fin down below, but that's just the paddle tail itself. Very excited to try to use these. We used them a little bit last year on a trial basis. Very successful. Again, fantastic with forward-facing sonar if you have that. And then this is the leech season, and they came out with their own eye candy leech. This is the jigging leech. This is more of a finesse type of presentation. You use this on a jig and just give it a little bit more of a finesse type of presentation than otherwise would with the rigging leech, and that's what this is here. The rigging leech is basically what it says. You use it with a rig, like a one-hook spinner rig. Anything like that would work really well. The finesse presentation, you'd want to use the jigging leech. So again, these three new baits from Northland I think are going to work quite well, especially this time of year. Right now is the time that you're going to want to try them. So make sure you stop by the store, take a look at these new products from Northland with the eye candy line. I don't think you'll be disappointed, and the good thing is you can always keep them in your tackle box, and it's always good to have that increasing size of that toolbox that you're going to want to use on these hot July summer days. So again, if you can't make it to the store, feel free to give us a call at 605-336-9132. And now it's time to take a look at a few photos that you sent in to me this past week. And remember, folks, if you'd like your photo included in next week's version of the 2-Minute Fishing Report, all you have to do is send it to me. Send it to Todd at dakotaangler.com. And I know if you've watched this report long enough, you know what I usually talk about at the end, such as the Dakota Angler Ice Institute, November 8th through the 10th. Mark your calendars at the Sioux Falls Arena Convention Center. As well as, folks, if you can't make it to the store here, everything that you see behind me and on the store floor is available on our website at dakotaangler.com. And if you aren't really familiar or tech savvy and you really don't feel comfortable ordering online, all you have to do is pick up the phone and call at 605-336-9132, and we'll fulfill your order online or over the phone. But if you have any questions, don't hesitate to give us a call. Well, folks, that's this week's version of the 2-Minute Fishing Report for Dakota Angler. I'm the owner, Todd Heitkamp, and as we say around here, fish on! We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching, folks, and always stay healthy and stay safe.